obsessed with gardening, flowers, veggies, herbs, generally just all of it. Greenery, I love it. When I'm at home, I want to feel like I'm living in a secret garden. This is real. I even have indoor and outdoor gardens in my place here in New York, which I'm trying to figure out the growing situation here. But I don't exactly know what I'm doing. It's trial and error. But I think a lot of people are like that. So that's where my next guest comes in. He is known as the NYC plant doctor, and he's here to give us all a little guidance. So let's say hi to the founder and CEO of NYC Plant Help, Christopher Satch. Give it up, Christopher.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to defend myself first. If you saw those dead plants in the back on the roof, that's not my fault. People were supposed to come take something out, and I was supposed to put something in, and they have not been there yet. But I'm defending myself. But first, what is a plant doctor? What do you do?
So a lot of times people call me and they say, oh, I have a dying plant. You know, my plants aren't doing too well. They're brown leaves are falling off. And so
Am I watering too much? Am I not watering enough?
Right, yeah. They have all these questions, and I go there and I, take a look at the plant, and I diagnose the plant, I do house calls, and sometimes they need to be sprayed down, sometimes they need to be repotted, sometimes they need to be treated for pests or fungi or something else like that. And so I kind of do it all with a specialty on the home grower here in New York.
Okay, I know, I'm trying to learn it here, man. And where to grow in the house, it's hard. So when we start a garden, how do we know what to buy, other than what you like, and I'd like air purifying plants as well.
Right. I mean, they'll all do that.
Yeah.
They'll all purify the air.
Oh, is that true? Did I get duped? I thought there were certain ones that were better at it.
They say
Was
that,
I lied to?
Yes and no. I mean, some are better.
Okay.
Yeah, so some are better than others, but they all purify the air, and they're all really great. And they're great for mood boosters and things like that. Like, I know this time of the year, I get kind of sad.
No, I know. That's why I like having the greenery inside. Yeah.
Yes. So when you're thinking of a plant, first think of your light situation, but also when you're buying a plant, you want to inspect the plant before you actually do anything with it, or before you actually buy it. So when you're inspecting the plant, you always want to inspect underneath the leaves, because most of the time when you buy a plant, there may be fungus on it, there may be bugs on it, there may be all kinds of critters and plant pests and stuff. So what I do is I always look under, I take a bunch of random leaves around the plant.
Well, I'm looking under, but what am I looking for? I mean, I can look under it all day. Yeah.
So you're looking for any kind of like specks or dust or clearly
yellowing or anything like
any
that?
kind of thing that's on the leaf, underneath the leaf. Because dust settles on the top, dust doesn't settle on the bottom, but bug eggs look like dust. And so you want to look out for the dust on the bottom of the leaf. So when you're picking a plant, you want to start great. You want to start with a healthy plant, a fresh plant, because if you start healthy, you'll stay healthy.
Okay, all right. So how do you, whenever you water something, how do you do that? I know that sounds like a silly question, but I did mess up and I was just kind of dumping it in at first.
So let's go over here to the watering can.
Okay.
And so with watering comes potting as well. So with the potting, it's, you have two kinds of pots. You have a non-draining pot. And you have a draining pot.
So I like her, yeah.
That's a nice one. So with the draining pot, you always want to get a saucer. And you want a really deep saucer too, because when you do water, you want it to sit in its own flow through for a little bit, so that way it can soak back up. Because if you just dump water onto the top, then it just kind of like floats on the inside of the pot and then just goes straight through to the bottom. It doesn't absorb into the center of the soil ball.
Yeah, okay.
So you need it to sit. And what I love about non-draining pots is that you just figure out 1/3 of the pot's volume, you imagine that amount of water, and then you just give it that amount of water.
Okay, but how often do you regularly, like most of your plants, what's an average? Like what?
It can vary depending on your environment. It could be, once every 5 days, once every 10 days. If you have a hotter, drier, sunnier apartment, it may be more on the every 5 day side. If you have sort of a more shaded apartment, or it's darker, or, it's the north-facing window, then you may be watering, once every 10 days.
Because it'll sit longer, because it's not drying out.
Because it's not drying, because it doesn't have the heat and the light. So both heat and light dry out the plants.
I'm out here trying to grow stuff in my basement too, man. I'm trying to grow on every floor to see what I can do, but it is overwhelming because I'm not you.